All right. I'd like to welcome everybody. Happy New Year to the August 3rd, 2023 first meeting of the year. 20. What did I say? January. At least you caught me. At least you caught me. I'm allowed several of these a year. Remember? January 3rd. Well, all right. I need approval of the agenda this time.
So moved.
Second.
Say, all in favor, aye? Aye. All right. If y'all will all stand, I'll do the invocation pledge. Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for the blessing of laughter. Thank you for 2022 that we're blessed for. Dear Lord, we ask that you be with this board for 2023, that the decisions we make are for the good of this community. And in all things, we always ask that the men and women that put their life on the line each and every day for our freedom, that we look after them. And all this we pray in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You gotta keep me straight. That's your job. That's what we get the big buck for.
Hey, Chairman, I would like to make a comment right quick.
Go ahead, comment.
Keep Debbie Laurie Smith in your prayers also. She is taking care of her son in Houston for the next couple of weeks. She will
Okay.
be missing our meetings. So she says she would be watching us, so we're thinking about
Everybody wave at Debbie.
We miss you.
All right, well, we've got two guests with us tonight. I'd like to recognize Mr. Vance and Mr. Washburn. Would you like to come up here and introduce yourself? And you're welcome at any time, but I know y'all don't want to sit through our meeting, so you got better things to do, but we appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly know that you do have better things to do and a long agenda. And we do appreciate just a chance for a couple of minutes to come
Sure.
in and say hello. First of all, I want to thank you all for what you do. You know, I was a county commissioner many years ago, a Jones County commissioner. And so I tell our county commissioners and our city council people and our mayors and our commission chairman or chairperson all the time that I tell you how much I appreciate what you do, because you do the really hard work. I tell people all the time, you affect the lives of the Jones County citizens in their day-to-day lives, and in their safety, and in their convenience, and in what they do to raise their children and get them ready for life. You affect that more than any member of the legislature does or any member of the Congress does, and you never forget that. So what you do is very important work, and I do appreciate what you do. Just very quickly, I am so honored to be part of the delegation that represents Jones County now. When we started the reapportionment process, I went to the chairman and said to her, I said, you know, when y'all start moving these lines around, I'm from Jones County, and if there's any way, I would like to have some of Jones County to represent. And of course, we know that when Representative Holmes decided to retire, that changed some things, and of course now I have about the northern half of the land area in Jones County, and it's a great honor for me to represent you. And so from my point of view, before I introduce Representative Vance, we are there for you. We want to know what we can do to help you. I've left my cards with every one of you. You got my cell phone, and I look forward to hearing from you. But it is an honor to represent you, and we appreciate the chance to come and say hello tonight. Now it's an honor for me to introduce Representative-elect Ken Vance, who is representing the other half of Jones County, and so we are honored to have him. He's already become a good friend, and we are looking forward to have him serve you in the House. He is from Baldwin County, but he and I will be representing you in the House, and Rick Williams will be representing you in the Senate. Rick couldn't be with us tonight because of a conflict, but you have another good man in him. So you got a good legislative delegation, and I'm honored here to be with you. And so I want to introduce Representative-elect Ken Vance and let him say some things to you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ken Vance, and thank you, Jones County, for voting for me. I really appreciate that. I spent 28 years as a city councilman. Don't hold that against me. But we used to have some cross committees with ACCG, and I served on many of those. A lot of people give me the credit or the disdain for putting up the training mechanism that city councilmen and county commissioners have to have once you take office. Now y'all go through the Carl Vinson Institute and get trained that way. Well, I'm the one that's blamed for creating that, and no, I think it's a wonderful thing. I always said, why do we force these people to get training when we don't have training in the job that we do as representing our constituents? And I think the classes that you have help you. I don't think they hinder you at all. I'm a 49-year law enforcement person, so I come at a lot of things from a law enforcement angle. But like Representative Washburn said, I don't have a card yet. I'm still a rookie. I hadn't even been sworn in yet, so I don't have these official cards. But let me give you my cell phone number now. It is 404-558-5380, 404-558-5380. And you can call me anytime, day or night. It stays on my wife's side of the bed, so I don't mind when it goes off. Okay? I'm just kidding. Anyway, I can help you. I'm always here to listen and try to further y'all's cause whenever I can. And good Lord gave us 2 ears for a reason. I'm a real good listener. And between both of us, or all of us, we can come up with something that works for all of us. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Before you both leave, our newspaper,
Miss Debbie.
Miss Debbie, not just a lady, she's more than that to us, but is out. So I'd like to take a picture of you with the board to send to her because I know she wants it. Do you all mind that?
No.
Do you want them to stand down there and us to stand here?
We get behind them.
You want me to use your phone?
Stretch your leg.
I know. I was like, say how where she is in our hearts.
Dead center.
At least I changed shirts. I had a shirt on that had stains all over.
You can,
I can stand right there.
yes. So you're not the only one. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So we love Jones County. Y'all weren't quick enough on that, okay?
Thank you.
Before they leave. What does it have? Okay, stain on it?
You got it. All right, we move on to board appointments. We've got the Rivers Edge Community Service Board.
And Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, after the last meeting, there was discussion. So this is a situation where there was an individual on that board that was from Jones County. He was in a at-large position on that board. They wanted to, the request from Rivers Edge was to move him to the Jones County position. And so I think the concern of the board was that, right now we've got two people on that board, one in a Jones County specific seat, one in an at-large seat. And if he's moved into the Jones County specific seat, that at-large seat could go to somebody from somewhere else, and we would not have the two representatives that we have now. So I called their CEO, and I kind of talked through all that with him. He said that he would relay that to his board, and that it was ultimately their decision on putting him in, or that I think he said their plan was always to eventually move this guy into the Jones County position, and then the at-large position is kind of one that board chooses someone to appoint. And so he said ultimately it would be up to them to appoint someone to that at-large spot. But He did say he would relay that concern to his board, and so I told him that I would bring that back to you all too. So
All right, what's the wishes of the board? I don't think we have a choice, huh?
No, I think we do. We didn't really get an answer of, you know.
Yeah, but they choose at large positions, so we won't have anything on that, right?
But their request was for us to take the at-large position, which is a Jones County resident, and put him in a Jones County position. So if we don't do that, the Jones County position is the only position open. The at-large, they're not gonna pull somebody out of an at-large, are they, and move him to another one? They're not gonna vacate a seat. So I just say we don't appoint him to the Jones County position and appoint a Jones County representative. Is that right, Jason?
I think you could do it that way.
I did speak with the other gentleman that holds the at-large position, and he expressed his wishes to continue to serve in whichever capacity, he was in, or whichever he was placed.
So I'm inclined to agree with Sam. I'd like to motion that we approve Brian Utley for the Jones County vacancy on that board.
I think he applied for a different.
Oh,
That's for
Development Authority.
development.
sorry, got excited.
You got excited, didn't you? Well, we put him on two tonight if you want. Let him know later.
He signed up for something, he didn't know
That's
what.
Goes on the backside.
So
So,
who's on this one?
so Alex Smith is the individual that's on the River Edge board right now, currently
At large.
in the at-large spot. That's right.
So who's the vacant person that we're gonna put in that spot? Because I saw Brian's name right next.
All right, so
That's the next
Mr.
spot.
Yeah.
So they're not
Mr.
telling
Child.
us to, no, they're not telling us
Thad
to,
resigned.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're not telling us to nominate somebody for the Jones County position. They're asking us to take it from the at-large and appoint them to Jones County. Then they'll have the right to put whoever they want in the at-large.
At-large.
And if we don't do that, then that Jones County position is open.
Right.
I need a motion one way or the other.
Do we have a person for that? Because again, I thought based on the way this was organized, Brian was next. So do we have a person for that role?
Where's that letter? Because I don't think it's come open yet. I think it's to be vacated by.
in February 24th of 2023.
All right, so we got a little time,
We got a month.
month. You know, we got some, we still got a Board of Assessors up there,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got, is that the only other opening we have in the board? That's two vacancies, we got to remember. We hadn't filled Board of Assessors in over a year now.
What about the historic board? Don't we still have two that need to be filled there?
I think we got that
Because
covered.
we went from 3 to 5.
I'm gonna play you right now. We're focusing right now on this particular slide.
I'm just reminding you all.
I got
You
you.
might have
Oh.
more than you think.
2023 is gonna be fun.
We have multiple boards
Don't get
open.
too happy thinking you only got
Hold
two.
hands
All
on
right.
the invitation.
What, do we want to postpone this for another day?
Can I tell you the other reason why I thought y'all were doing Brian was because Thad was on the board and it just seems like it was a Morris Bank kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a good fit.
Yeah, he's Development Authority.
Yeah, but Thad from Morris Bank was on the
Right.
behavior Rivers
Moving
Edge.
on.
Yeah, I'm just saying it just seemed like it
Moving
made
on.
sense. I got
Well,
it.
won't we reach out and see if anybody else at Morris wants to
Okay.
stand? But I still need a motion.
I make what was Sam's motion?
So there was just a letter that said, I respectfully request that the Board of Commissioners appoint Mr. Smith to River Edge Board of Directors of Jones County seat. I don't see the why. Why do they want to do that when he's already on a seat and there's an appointment position?
So we got a vacancy, we can, leave him there and we'll put somebody else there.
So you can do nothing on that
Right.
and just
When does that board
take
appointment
applications
at
for
large
the Jones
expire?
County.
Need a motion to postpone until,
Motion to postpone that
Second.
letter of request, Chairman.
second, all in favor, aye? Ayes have it. Now, Development Authority Board.
Motion to approve Brian Utley for the Development Authority Board.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Uh,
All right. We move on to consent agenda and approval of minutes. We had the first Tuesday of December 6th and the executive.
What
What
about
I do?
Mary?
What I do?
What about Mary?
I didn't have a two.
Yes, Mary.
You got third page.
Page 7. Uh-oh, y'all by,
Page 7 and page 2.
where were they at on here? Did I miss something?
Yeah, Mary and Christopher.
Oh, okay. So we got more on executive session? I mean, more on development authority? Well, see,
How many positions are open on the development authority?
there we go.
Haley's here. If y'all have
Just
questions.
one.
Come on,
How many, Haley?
come on, young lady,
I
get it
thought she was
straight.
saying 5.
See, Commissioner Martin, you got me all confused now.
Wait a minute.
Oh, boy.
I motion for
Three
Brian. I don't know
openings
Mary.
and 3
so-
applications.
All right,
Yes.
so how many we got new ones?
So we have 4 total. Y'all approved the first one in December, and then I have 3 for this go round.
Okay,
So I've got Mary Murray,
okay,
Brian Utley, and Chris Wieters.
all right.
And those are
Mary,
all
Chris.
members that are coming off the board?
No, those are the ones we're trying to add to the board.
And know all 3 of them, and they're all good folks.
The 4 that are, we had 1 vacant seat that has never been filled that we needed to fill. The other seats that are being filled were Alan Childs, Dottie Walker, and Francis Adams.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Chairman, I motion to approve Mary Murray and Christopher Wieters to the Development Authority Board.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you
y'all.
here for keeping us straight.
Who did we nominate in December?
Huh?
Who did we nominate in December?
It should
All
be
right.
within
Yeah, I'm gonna look.
Now we'll move to consent agenda approval for minutes. First Tuesday of December 6th and executive session on December 6th. If y'all had an opportunity to review the minutes, if everything looks good, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve, Chairman.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye? Aye. All right. Ms. Potts that wasn't able to be here tonight, Earl, you want to start the sheriff's cameras? Sure. I've got a lot of instructions for Captain Douglas to make sure you keep up the reports and all.
Good evening.
He didn't even phase that one. You let that go right on by, didn't you?
know if I made it here.
All right, thank you.
I'll come back. Some of you may not get one, I say paper.
Only so much in the budget, right?
But he used color, though. How about that?
If would please, the commission, I have got a proposal. The sheriff department, we've been in talks and discussions with Mr. Risner for, well, quite some time now, well, almost over a year. We had first started looking some LPRs for some of the litter control that we had around the county. And once we looked at the cost of those, we kind of like vapor lock, because it was pretty expensive. Those standalone cameras, those LPR cameras, we had basically 2 quotes. One for $36,000 and one for $42,000, and that was for each camera. Did not include the $1,200 for maintenance agreements for each one for the year. So as things rocked along and we thought we were pretty much out of the running for those, we just couldn't afford to, or it just wasn't cost effective. There's a new company that has started leasing these cameras. It's called Flock Safety. We wouldn't have come before the board if we didn't think that these were some good cameras. So all the surrounding counties that we have, Monroe, Twiggs, Baldwin, I think Baldwin has 55 of these cameras already up in Baldwin County. If the board will remember, about 3 weeks ago, we stopped and arrested a murder suspect out of North Carolina as a direct result of one of these flock cameras coming out of Baldwin County. So they do work. They're plugged into GCIC, so if there's a criminal out there that's trying to evade somebody or comes into Jones County, then we can pick them up as soon as they pass by that camera. They have vehicle recognition software, so we have a specific vehicle that we're looking for. we can plug it in and have it looking out for that particular vehicle as it comes in. In every one of these cameras, and we have a proposal for, actually it's 20 cameras throughout the county. That's 18 stationary cameras on every entry road inside Jones County. Almost everyone. There's a couple of them that we did not catch, but for the most part, the heavily trafficked roads are caught, and that's just coming into Jones County, so we'll be able to tell it when it comes in, not necessarily when it leaves, but we're more interested in what it does when it gets here anyway. And 2 mobile units that we can move around to hot spots, recreation complexes when they have something big going on. We can move them around and curtail or customize our LPR camera security and any number of ways. We are in talks or speaking with the good folks out at River North. We expect that they're going to purchase their own because that is a private road coming into Jones County, so we just didn't want the taxpayers to have to foot that bill. But this we think this might help solve some crime and make everybody just a little bit more secure. We go through cameras every day of the week. If on the interstate, you probably are hit by 10 or 15 if you go to Atlanta. If you go to Macon, you run a red light, you're probably going to get stopped by a camera or get caught by a camera. These are just work for Jones County. So that's pretty much it.
We've already talked about the cameras and realized it wasn't feasible on what we were looking, and I think they've come up with myself. I mean, it's a win-win. You was talking about the murder suspect they just picked up. That was, cameras are a must these days.
I think so. I think we just to have the ability. And another thing I failed to mention, and I apologize for that. Every one of these cameras is plugged into every deputy sheriff with every computer we got in the car at that time in real time. So it's not that we get 5 minutes from now or 10 minutes from now. We get the alert right then, and they can respond to it right then. And Jones County Dispatch, we can sit there and zoom in and check any one of them from one office, one location. So it's just a win-win for that. But we felt comfortable with the due diligence we did with talking with Monroe County, Twiggs County. There's, I think Crawford County has several of them. Baldwin County, they just put in, like I said, they have 55 of them, so they're everywhere in Milledgeville.
They using Flock also?
Yes, that's the brand that we did the research on, and they've been, everybody just raves about it.
That's great. Any questions from the board?
Yes, sir.
I only have one question on where it talks about the advanced search. It has a dollar amount and then it has a quantity. But if you add those up, the second line on the bottom chart, is that just a typo?
Yes, sir. No, sir. That is the stationary cameras, and then the line below it was the flex, which would be the mobile cameras.
Yeah, I was just saying if you take this number and multiply it by the second column, the 18 quantity, it didn't come up to 20.
The lease itself is for a 2-year lease. That's the least amount that they will lease those.
Right.
And so first year, including installation of the cameras themselves.
That's so that number times that number. Is that
It's 2,500 each is the number.
Okay. So these are totaled out.
Right, sir. These are the totals on the other side of here.
Okay.
And the first year includes the maintenance, and the second year does not. Of course, the camera's are already up, so.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I just thought it was a typo. I was just making sure.
No, I questioned that too, but we checked and said, but that's, the Flock Safety Advanced Search, that's, just omit the The front line, because it's the event search, it's $2,500 per camera
For all, okay.
for all 18 stationary, and then it's it's actually $3,000 per mobile camera.
Gotcha.
They do cost a little bit more because there's a little bit more involved to those to move them around from place to place.
Gotcha.
So, quick question. I've been missing this part. So, when did the sheriff start this process? For
We
looking
were
for-
involved with Mr. Risner, probably well over a year ago when we started looking at LPR cameras to put in places we had problems with littering.
Right, I understand the trash part, but I'm trying to get to when we switch to pure law enforcement, because we're not doing the trash part. This is pure law enforcement, right?
It's both.
It's both.
We can move the mobile cameras around anywhere.
All right, so, and I'm just making sure, so now that I understand that part of it, for the law enforcement component that is mobile, will we have directive over where we want those to go, or is the sheriff gonna say, no, we wanna use these here? Because I know.
No, I mean, we would take, if somebody having a problem somewhere, say, hey, you called us, we're glad to move those. That would be 2 mobile LPR cameras to go along with the 5 we already have on tag readers.
Right. 'Cause the
So
reason why
those be moved around from place to place.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that is because we know we have a perpetual problem on Griswold Road.
Right.
And so for me, I almost wanted a big black arrow on Griswold Road, because I know that that's a big target area. And we just, Cumsville Road, right? Is that brand new today, or is that always there?
What part?
Jan saw some trash, there was a bunch of trash.
I don't know, because today's the first time I saw it.
Gotcha, okay.
I was not saying I didn't notice it before.
Right. And I was just curious because I know we started with trash and we're here, and I understand the safety, and, we caught a murder suspect. That's great. I don't want that to go away. But I know our daily issue, is there a whistle for something?
It's weather alert.
Weather alert.
Ah,
We got lots of lightning hitting us away.
okay. We're safe. All right.
To answer your question, yes, we could put those in wherever there would be a complaint coming from about those things places we already know about,
Right.
or new places that come up.
Gotcha.
Because we expect that's going to happen when
Yep.
we put a camera out where somebody's doing some illegal dumping.
Yep.
They're going to stop there and move to someplace else.
Yep. And the only reason why I'm asking that second part of this question is we had identified more streets than 2, and I can't remember, our prices were way larger than 3,000. At 3,000, are we interested in 2 or 3 more for those trouble targeted areas?
I guess the question, Earl, say we go with this proposal here, could we add to it? and
Yeah,
not
we
have a
could.
major
Look,
cost increase?
what we had was the base and minimum. I was trying to cover every Ingrace Road in Jones County, every state highway, every Bethune Avenue. You can sweep right on through Bethune Avenue, come right on in Jones County. You come off of Ellsworth, off of Shirlington Drive.
Yep.
We did not cover that.
Right.
But we are covering New Clinton Road. The main egress is into Jones County. Now, the mobile places, the mobile ones, when we have, we'll be moving them all the time. Of course, we got 2 recreation complexes. You're probably gonna have one when they've got something great or something used going at those things. If you got a festival in Gray, you're probably going to have one there. If you want something that we could move around and just designate just for littering, or that would probably be the best scenario altogether.
Right, and because the maintenance is happening now, that's the only reason why I'm proposing it now, because that's a setup fee all at once. Because I'd like to see them in those troubled spots, because I know Wendy had more trash than some other areas, and that might be an opportunity. And Sam might be able to catch up this time, so.
And I can pretty much assure you that if we have a burglary on Highway 57 or in a neighborhood off of Highway, we're going to move that camera over there in those areas where we have, so we can hopefully counteract some of that stuff there too. They will be moved around quite a bit, and if somebody calls and says, they heard some shooting going on in their neighborhood, or let's not even count the school problems and some of the areas that we're going to have there. So everybody's going to want them
Right.
nearby, and we will start talking with some of the homeowner associations and some of our larger subdivisions and see if they would be interested in their own. But that's the only reason why we did not, we didn't cover River North coming in, because you come all the way into Jones County there. But there's cameras already there in the front gate and the back gate, so we have some coverage there. It's just not nothing that we'd have to go back and get.
So if this identified sort of the sheriff's department's needs, if the board added on like 2 more mobiles, could those 2 just be identified?
Designate them if y'all wanted them just for.
like litter and moved around to different.
Right, and it's, the stationary ones themselves are not that, it's like a fee, $500 fee to move a stationary one. They're completely wireless, they work off of solar power, so it can be moved around. It's just we don't have to pay that fee every time we move a mobile one, we just go move it.
The mobile ones, are they on like a trailer, or how are they mobile? What are they put on?
No, they're not on a trailer, we actually have to go put them up, but we can do that ourselves.
Okay.
It's not a trailer you hook up to and drive somewhere. So they're a little bit less conspicuous than the other ones that we looked at a year ago, which were just these behemoth trailers that you go and park somewhere, and that's obviously, nobody's going to dump something on the side of the road when they've got one of those big things looking at you. So
And a lot cheaper, because what we all started looking at a year ago.
yeah, it was the cheapest one was 36,000 and to 42, and that was not
That's why
even the maintenance.
I'm looking at what we're at right now, and I'm like,
That's why I want a couple more, specifically for
trash.
trash.
We're thinking like, this is scary.
Yeah, must be the whiskey.
Right, y'all have a motion?
Yes. I want to add 2.
Wait,
He can't make a motion.
I'm just
can't make a motion.
Since we're
We're
together.
thinking alike. Go
It's
ahead.
2. All right, great. Anybody else? We're good. Go on. Let's go this. We want to add 2 more of the mobile units to it, so that's another $6,000, right?
Well, let's make a motion in a second for comment.
All right.
I got one more question, Chairman.
Huh? Well, go ahead, I'm gonna get the motion in the
Funding.
funding, yeah. You need the funding now?
No, I'm saying, where's it coming from?
That's what I was going,
Oh, I got you. Jason gonna tell us?
Jason was doing this number here, and I was waiting to get a break.
So one thought, and we received word some months back, I mentioned it in a meeting a while back. There's another pot of COVID money that we are eligible for because of the amount of federal lands that we have in the county. And it's essentially another pilot payment. And we're going to get about $72,000 this year, and then we'll get the same thing again next year. That can really be used for any governmental purpose, is basically the only restrictions they put on that. And so if this is something that the board is inclined to do, that's an available source of money there. I believe we've received this year's amount, and then about a year from now, we'll receive that again. So that's there as a potential payment source if y'all are interested in using that.
Whoever wants to add that to the motion.
I motion that we approve the roadside cameras with the additional 2 for a total of $119,300 to be taken out of the pilot funds.
I'll second.
Second.
Yeah, that's for 2 years now.
Yes.
For 2
Yeah.
years.
It's 2. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not a purchase.
All right, we got a second. Any more discussion?
No, well, we want to make sure that it's clear that those additional 2 are specifically for litter.
Designated for dumping.
Correct. Thank you, Ashley.
Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Let's have it. Thank you, Earl.
Thank you.
Very much.
Well, tell Captain you did a fine
Good to
job.
see you.
Mr. Ingram, you've got some bid award for LMIG for us? 18.
Last month, we presented the bid tabulation for the LMIG project for this year. Reed's Construction was low. And what we really need to know was what roads are we going to do?
Millions we got money for.
Question.
Based off the source and use sheet, do they all have this?
They do.
the source and use sheet that Jason provided, we can use money for the Moore Stevens, Dye Road, Smith Road, Overland Way, and Whitehead Road.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your top 5.
And that's the LMIG from last year and this year that we currently have.
And it is the 2015 Splosh Public Works of $173,239.94.
2022 LMIG and, or 2021 and 22.
It's 22 LMIG, 23 LMIG, 2015 Splosh Public Works, and then Public Works Operating Fund, other than LMIG, it's there's about $8,470 out of it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And that does not include the 18 complex sidewalks or animal shelter, right?
Jason had set up recreation sidewalks to come out of general fund allocation for sidewalks at the rec complex,
Okay.
and then 73,486 to come out of capital reserves.
And then if you wanted to do there were a couple of ad alternates there related to those sidewalks. Some of the areas around the concession stand there that need to be paved, and those would come out of capital reserves too, the way it's set up on this sheet.
Didn't we discuss the parking lot? Or are we gonna leave it gravel?
Ballpark? Parking lot?
We've discussed it several times.
Might help me. $1 million.
For the parking lot, yeah.
You could do it for a lot less than that.
Now, if you put LMIG money on it, you cannot lock it. It has to stay open 24 hours a day.
We got these new LTE cameras, OTR cameras, we're all right. Okay. I think we need to do the sidewalks and the animal shelter parking lot. I think we gotta focus on our facilities that have public use as well as roads, because, I mean, all of our taxpayers are using them. Well, most of them. So, I'm okay as long as we got another pot of money that we're gonna bring them out of. So that'll get us down to number 5 plus animal shelter, recreation sidewalks. And so the ad alternate 1 and 2 is a choice, we're not gonna do both, right?
Correct.
I think for the difference, we do it in concrete, I would say.
That's what Jason listed, and we listed some sod to go along the new walkways so that would not be backfilled and installed, it wouldn't be a drop-off.
So,
Go ahead.
you know, I'm not so familiar with the patios personally walking on them, but I don't know White Road very much. Is that more well-traveled than Liberty Ridge?
They're both dead-end roads with cul-de-sacs.
Because I would have been inclined to pick another road.
Liberty Ridge is where, what's the name of the business?
Where the former
Womack
Womack pavement
used to
was.
Walmart Paving used to
gotcha.
be on it. Whitehead is
It's off Wheeler Road,
off Wheeler
on
Road.
the north side of Wheeler.
Never been on it unless we're gonna go down
I don't know the conditions of it.
'Cause I would just be a fan of doing that road with the LMIG and adding something to it, because we're only about 20,000 away. You know, if these are roads that need to be done, and it's going to be worse if we don't do them now, right?
We have other roads that are deteriorating quickly, like I was at Grizzleville the other day in Wendy's, or South End, and there was logging going on. It torn the road up pretty bad on the 18 end.
Active logging with a bond?
Active logging.
Thanks to our state, they're allowed to haul 30 ton at a time, and our roads aren't set up for them. They want to go up to 100,000, that's ridiculous.
We had representatives here, we didn't.
They increased that to 90, from 75 to 90.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
They increased it from 75 to 90?
No, they increased it from 80,000
So,
to 95,000, and they wanted to go to 100. They haul 30 plus,
You say-
32 tons legal now
You
instead of
say there's
45.
$20,000 odd left?
Well, if you were gonna do the add one and add the alternate one and alternate two,
Right.
if it was summed together, it's about a $20,000 difference between that and a road. And I was saying I was more inclined to do a road if there was a road that was in dire need.
So add one and add two is an or.
That's either or, it's
Yeah,
not
one
together.
or two.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, do concrete instead of asphalt. It's the same patio area. Just do we do it in asphalt or concrete? Everything else is concrete except some walkways, so I
Yeah.
would say, and it'll last longer.
Commissioner Kitchen, were you doing yours in a form of a motion while
I
ago?
will, Chairman. Make a motion that we go down the project list utilizing LMIG funds through Whitehead Road, Morris Stevens Dye Road, Smith Road, Overland Way, and Whitehead Road through LMIG. Animal shelter and a portion of the complex sidewalks with 2015 SPLOST Public Works, General Fund, and capital reserves. Also utilizing alternate number 2 patio concrete.
We have a motion, we have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
No, we have a motion,
Did I
Commissioner
get
Wood.
something wrong?
Second.
We were catching up to you, Sam.
Any more discussion?
No.
None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm not opposed, just that one piece. When we
Oh,
get to
you
the
want-
next LMIG, we're starting exactly from this new list. We're not
When you have,
adjusting.
when you have in your next LMIG, there'll be a payment evaluation done for the
Right.
county.
Right.
I'm looking
Okay.
forward to that. That way
Yep.
it takes you out.
Yes.
All right,
This list may become the
We got-
front.
5-0.
Okay, good.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr. Ingram. Monday, July 3rd, holiday. Commissioner Martin.
You know, I'm a fan of making sure if we say we love our employees, we give them the respect and honor of that. If the 4th is on a Tuesday, we should definitely give them Monday off. So I'm motioning that we give them Monday, July 3rd off as well.
Oh, you got a smile on your face.
I'm off the whole week.
All right, got a motion. Do we have a second
Second, and
for discussion?
for
Okay.
discussion, yes, sir.
All right, now discussion.
We gotta figure out the recycling center schedule.
It's already closed on Mondays, right?
Got it.
Well, now it's gonna be closed on
Tuesday. Well, we just advertised it. We closed it for Saturday and Sunday for Christmas and New Year's.
Gonna be closed on Sunday afternoon, Monday, Tuesday. I'm good with it. All righty then.
Okay.
So I've already seconded, Chairman. I'm good with questions.
All right. Well, we're going, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, ayes have it. While we're talking about employees and stuff, you know, we had quite a interesting holidays come up with all the freezes and stuff, and I saw a lot of our county employees pulling a lot of time out in this bad, cold weather, and you know, it's just one of those unusual things, situations that we've run across before. I hope we can look and make sure our employees are compensated for their time, because they spend a lot of time, and I think both New Year's and Christmas through some, I saw them. I can't believe they're out because I was about to freeze too.
You got something on your mind, sir? I know you can't motion it.
I
got
came
that
up,
part.
yes, I can't motion, but if you'd like to finish my thoughts, since we're thinking a lot,
So
make sure they're compensated.
I would motion that we compensate our employees for the emergency work that they had to do over the holidays.
How about any future holidays if it happens again, so we don't have to do it? Are they?
Were they paid holiday pay? They were out on a holiday,
No,
correct?
I'm just,
Yes, they did get holiday, they did the 8 hours just like everybody
How
else.
about the salaried employees that were out?
I just want to
Boots
make
on the
sure.
ground.
No salaried employees get paid for doing their job.
'Cause I know some salaried employees that basically missed Christmas with their families. 'Cause they were trying to get us water.
I mean, we ain't trying to rewrite the book.
Right, we're just thinking.
You know, we're running
All
across
smiles,
the.
Shannon, all smiles. We're not trying to violate policy. We know we've worked on that, but we're just trying to make sure we
everybody's
And,
compensated.
and I'll conversate on this because I'm one of these.
This isn't a, yeah, I was
Okay, no,
wondering,
well,
am I
no, no,
missing an
no, no,
agenda?
No, we can't, that's right, I can't take the motion.
My bad.
but
Thank you.
I'm,
Retract my
for
previous statement.
discussion while we're on that, excuse me.
Okay.
I was still
July
talking
third
about
holiday?
letting the employees up on the 3rd, but I just wanted to, yeah, we can't vote on it, but I just thought we need to think about, it, make sure that, yeah, yes, we can't, she's got me right. She
Yes.
got me for first time for the year, so I won't
Yeah.
let it happen again.
We're even, Ashley.
But it's just a thought we need to look at because we've done it in the past and we need to look in the future, make sure that, you know, our employees are taken care of because they're our backbone of this community.
Can we put that on the next agenda?
We can.
All right.
Like I said, we're not trying to rewrite it, I promise you. But, hey, let's go on. Matey Wells Gym.
All right, as we discussed in the work session, we had an incident at Matty Wells. We've all agreed that there's some changes that need to be made. I'm going to recommend that we do not allow bags anymore, that we implement a registration system, and that we limit our free play to youth. These measures will hopefully make it a safer environment moving forward.
We're going to add the signage, and our attorney's going to provide you with the legalese for that.
If under 18, is that what y'all decided?
Right.
Under 18 needs adult or guardian
Adult.
supervision.
Adult sign-in, not supervision.
All right. Okay.
Going back to the citizen commented earlier, would there be any consideration for adults to have any time at the gym to have recreation?
One of my comments that I said to him earlier is like how we had our women's softball league and you had one field that was designated to those ladies that came up with that. And it was completely by a community outreach on social media as how it was formed, and that's how the teams were formed. That would be a great thing for him because he knows the guys that would be coming to and help him start that outreach of having like one night as an adult league
Adult
night.
free play or something?
Yeah.
Adult league free play.
To have that, same way that you did with the ladies
Mhm.
softball teams.
So do you want to limit it to youth until that's sort of, some decisions are made about what
Yeah.
night and what times and all that?
We've got his number so that we can try to work some stuff in and get Bert involved with it too.
And remember, that's indoor gym, so there's still 3 outdoor basketball courts that we're not saying you can't play on, but
Yeah.
inside.
All right, we had
Did
motion.
you write all that down so you can motion it?
I'll just shoot it.
Also, it's a little unclear when you say sign in for anyone under 18. Does that mean, how do you want to handle if a 16-year-old drives himself and
They still
No.
got to sign in, because we still want to know.
a
who's in the
parent
gym.
needs to sign them in, a 16-year-old?
No, I thought the parent was for
12 and under.
12 and under, okay, all right. So it's for 12 and under, they got to be signed in by parents.
All right.
And then 18 and unders for what? You said 18 and under for something?
18 and under, they can sign themselves in. So right now, it's just you walk in and play.
With ID.
Right, now it's 18 and under must have ID and sign in.
Okay. So you have all the details to make a motion?
I don't have every single thing, but if I miss it, fill me in.
He's got this list.
All right, so motion that the changes for the 49 gym are as follows. No backpacks, 18 and under must present ID and sign in. 12 and under must be signed in by a parent. And we're going to build a registration or purchase a registration system for our constituents.
Is that everything?
Sounds
There was
good.
something else.
And we're going to post signs to address the presence of minors on the facility.
Right, we got a motion. We have a second.
Or was that everything?
Code of conduct.
Yes,
That's in the signage.
The code of conduct's going to be
code of conduct, that'll be in the registration.
and the registration and
Yep.
sign.
Okay. Second.
Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right.
All right, In regards to the playground bid, we're gonna postpone that, until we get you guys. We can still go forward with it? All right. Well, I'd like to I'd like to recommend that we award the bid to Great Outdoor Play.
Motion to, go ahead. Ladies first, it's 2023.
How you know
I
it?
did them all last
How
year.
you know what you're getting? You're just gonna take it?
He's got all of it to send to us.
So
I'll
go
send it
ahead
all
and-
to you.
But if you look at it and say, man, I really wish we hadn't have got this.
Him, Julie, and Jason all sat down together. I trust them.
All right.
Any
Make
more
your
discussion? Yes, ma'am.
You make your motion.
A motion that we approve Georgia
Great Outdoor Play.
Great Outdoor Play for the Playground Bid Awards.
How are we paying for it? Jason?
So the inclusive playground at, this may take a minute, but the inclusive playground at Mandy Wells will be paid for out of 2021 SPOS. The Haddock Park improvements is a general fund allocation. The Highway 49 improvements are a general fund allocation. The Highway 18 complex is a general fund allocation. Liberty Park is partially funded by a grant, partially funded by Commissioner Kitchens.
GOSP, and then the
Your,
Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program.
yeah, and I think you were gonna put in your portion of the
Oh, yeah, mine and the chairman's. Don't worry about it, yeah.
2021 SPOS and grant funds.
throws it.
He said anything to help.
Is that all of them?
Yes. Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye? In favor? All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Looking forward to that
Mr. Engineer.
project. All right, golf cart, or golf course fees, due to the fact that we are by far the cheapest golf course in the area, and we're trying to generate enough funds to run successfully, I'm recommending that we raise the golf cart fees from $5 to $10 for members, and I'm recommending that we change the green fees by $1 per 9 holes, and I'm recommending that we lower the single membership rates from $800 to $500.
And the senior fees.
The senior fees will remain the same.
I make a motion to award, to pass the golf cart fees from 5 to 10, the general membership fee from $800 to $500, and the per
Green fees for 9
greens
holes.
fee for 9 hole, $1 per
Per 9
9
holes.
holes.
Second.
Second. All right. Any more discussion on this? All in favor, aye?
All right, in regards to the field and court fees, right now, we only charge a fee to rent the court. It's a standard fee. There's no hourly rate that goes to support the staff that has to cover that facility during the time of the rental. And I'm recommending a $20 fee to cover the staff member during the time of the rental for fields and courts.
24.
That will be per the rental. So it's by the hour. If you got 2 fields, it'll be only the $20 per hour. If you got 2 courts, which is impossible in Jones County, but it would also only be the $20 an hour. So
Motion to approve the $20 per hour rate for field rentals.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on this? None, all in favor, aye? Okay.
all right, in regards to the zero turn mower bid, I'm recommending that we go with Ace of Gray and get the 3 grasshoppers for a price of $32,730.
I make a motion to accept the bid, award the bid for the zero turn for Ace.
Second.
How are we paying for it?
That's also a general fund allocation. It was one of the special request items.
Have a motion and a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Wagner, old business certification.
I
Saw that was big old print.
I gave you, a policy with the change to add the class 3, class 2, class 1 water or wastewater operator license, where they could each earn a 10% increase with every level completed, with the addition of the wording that Ashley, provided.
And that's just for your consideration. It sort of gives you a, it gives human resources the ability, if this certification were to completely throw off your pay scale, to adjust as needed.
So I know we had some discussion about this, and we talked about just moving them along the step, I believe, to account for that, but not to adjust the pay because the certification was an earned benefit. I heard you breathe. Go ahead.
No, so our new pay plan doesn't have the steps. It's an open range plan. So,
Basically, it'd take 3 to 5 years to get all 3 of these, correct? I'm quizzing Brandon. Right. Basically, we're talking about that much over a 3 to 4 year period, so it's about,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the earned money. I don't like the idea you're going to adjust my pay downwards. That part.
no, it's 10% increase.
Right, but when you get to the second sentence, should certification pay skew the county's pay scale for any employee, HR may adjust as needed or necessary said compensation downwards to align within the county's pay
Like it may be
scale.
an 8% increase instead of a 10, if it's gonna throw off the pay scale. Which is why I put in here that before the certification, they would check with human resources.
I think that the difference with this is usually it's a one-time thing, but now we're allowing certain positions to get more than a one-time 10%. That will throw off the pay scale once you hit 30%.
I was just trying to give you a backup in case this has some unintended consequences.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just not a fan of, if I know I can earn my 10%, and some of us are grandfathered in and they already gotten their 10%. But for the new folks who may have never gotten it, I did the work, and especially the water department, that's probably one of the most difficult certifications to get, right? Now you're going to adjust it. I'm not going to earn my full 10, I'm going to get 8, or I might get 7. And if they're continuous or stackable credentials, by the time I get to my third one out, I'm not even getting the 10% because you're out of pay scale. Because, no offense, and I know it's not Shannon, this becomes subjective when you say as needed. That's how the first pay scale got out of whack.
We don't want to kill the incentive, because these are difficult to get and
Mhm.
precious and prized.
And I could say the water department, in my humble
Add that
opinion,
language. I just,
Yeah, that's
If there's-
that's a suggested.
yeah.
I got you, but it was presented in a meeting, so someone might say, hey, this is a part of the policy, and I don't want that to be confused.
Right.
And with respect to the water department,
I'm sorry.
It has to be voted on, right?
Yes, it has to be voted on.
and with respect to the water department, I think it's a little different because that is an enterprise fund, and I don't know how you separate the two in county government, but that's enterprise, and their credentials are way different than going to ACCG for a weekend and coming back with my 10%. Not to offend anybody or belittle anybody's credential.
Nobody's going for a weekend. I mean, it takes over 80 hours to get a 10% increase.
Right.
If it goes away for a weekend and comes back and says,
Yeah.
I'm getting my 10% increase.
Right, I was just,
He's using that as a.
4 weekends.
How
20 weekends.
How does the other counties do this?
I can check around and see. Just off the top of my head, I don't know.
You haven't talked to any other counties about any sort of,
All the ones, when we first started talking about certifications, I put something out on the listserv and they all told me it was a bad idea. So that's kind of the extent of the feedback that I got from other counties.
Are we out of time?
That's it. So, motion to adjourn, Chairman.
I just, not belittling anyone's position is more important or less important than the other. But I don't think that we can look at this certification for every department the same way. So I don't know how you word that so that every department's employees is truly being able to increase their salaries by getting their training. Because water is very important. Our roads are very important. Recreation is everybody's important, but the jobs themselves, your guys don't have to go get water licensing to be at the water department. That y'all's is CDLs and learning the equipment. Everybody's job is important, but how do you make this certification?
I think it's spelled out pretty good certification-wise, because if it's a CDL, that's a requirement that we gotta have it. There's a compensation for that. Parks and Recreation certification to get certain grants and stuff is a requirement. You get a 10% for that. Board clerk certification is a requirement to be a board clerk. Get certification for that. County manager. Water department is a little different because there's 3 layers of requirements by EPA and state water licensing and all this that the county's required to have. I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue as we're looking at, because we don't have 25 Class 1 water licenses in the county. We only need 1 or 2 in those positions. So we're not going to have that many Class 1, Class 2, or Class 3. What's going to happen, though, if we're saying that the first one's 10, and then if it throws you out of whack, it gets you to 7, and by the time you get to your third one, you might be down to 5 or 6. There's no incentive that we intentionally put in there to go for 2 and 3. You just stay at level 1.
Well, hopefully too with that person's not still at the same level, that they have maybe become an assistant or
Like, would they be
this
filling in a
or
different
this.
position?
We don't have jobs like that. No, we're not set up like that.
A level 1 water operator cannot do the same thing that a level 3 can do.
Right.
See, we don't
By
have
law.
them split out like, they're not called level 1, level 2, class, whatever. They're not called that. They're called plant operators.
So we need to fix that, because we didn't know we needed these designations before. And when we did the pay scale study, that wasn't a part of the conversation, because whomever it might have been over there didn't articulate that well. I'm thankful that we have someone who can articulate that, and we need to fix it, no different than what we just did for another role. And this is that opportunity to do it. It's an enterprise fund that generates money, right? And I think, and I don't know if legally how we do this from a governmental standpoint, if out of that fund it can subsidize those employees so we don't have the conflict or issue. I just don't want the language where we adjust it downwards. That's all I'm saying. I'm a fan of certification. I think water department is one of those exceptions because of what is absolutely required. And I'm thankful that they're required to do it, because you don't want me running your water department.
But some of these certifications, would it actually bump them to a different sort of job duty,
title.
like a different job title or position, where their pay would be different anyway?
I think it would, but we don't have that. We don't have those job titles. We don't have that. That's what I was just saying. We don't have that. We have a plant operator.
But like, if we hire somebody to operate equipment, or somebody to operate equipment with a CDL, we automatically pay the CDL person more, right?
Well, we do have those split up.
Okay.
We
So-
don't have them split up.
If we had the person without the CDL go and get their CDL, would they be moved to the position where they're already being paid more because they have the
Not
CDL?
necessarily. If there's not an open position, I don't have anywhere to move you. You're just gonna get the increase in pay.
Okay, let me, I'm trying to confuse things. CDL hazmat, is there a separation there?
Yes, because one's just CDL and the other one's hazmat.
Oh, we got a separation, so somebody
Yes.
goes because that's we don't have a whole lot of that.
That's correct.
So, I mean, somebody gets to CDL hazmat, they've got to bump and pay for that.
Yeah, I mean, that went, those jobs went through our salary
Yeah,
study.
okay, all right.
Now, the only thing that went through our salary study with the water department is plant operator, because we don't have it split out.
I've got you. So that's where the confusion
Wastewater
is.
operator one, two,
Right.
three,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And have we split it out, like we was talking about before, a level, a grade 22, grade 24, grade 26, 1, 2, and 3, they would have just moved to a different line item, and the scale would have never changed. But just like with the CDL, we got truck driver, CDL hazmat. 3 different pay levels, same person, same truck. 3 different water levels, 1, 2, and 3, same person, same water department. It's just a 10% versus a 4%.
Sure.
And that's where we're saying that a CDL license and a grade 2 water level, the level or the amount of training that you've got to have a water level 2, a water license 2, is more than it takes for a CDL license.
Mhm.
And so that's why the compensation is different, no more than the starting salary is different.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't, it's not saying one job is less
Sure.
important than the other.
Sure.
It's just industry standard levels
Sure.
say that these are the dollar amounts associated
Okay.
with those jobs.
Clear as mud.
I didn't see us saying that with a hazmat CDL, if it puts them in a level above a regular truck driver pay, we're gonna diminish that down to a CDL only. Even though they've got a hazmat, because it might throw our pay scale out. Simply because that dollar amount threshold was less than a water department level. That was a good argument right there, wasn't it, Counselor?
I've already made a mess. This thing gonna put me on the floor yet. Y'all done booby trapped my chair now.
We made sure to give you that one.
So, my only concern at this point is adjusting the compensation downward. I don't want that to be a part of our policy or the language. With exception to that, I'm a fan of the certification. So, my motion is that we implement the certification process without adjusting compensation downwards.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any more discussion?
And the only part of the discussion I'm going to add is, in particular, Brandon wasn't here, so allow him the opportunity to designate those roles back through the payroll system so we can justify the pay that we're going to pay those people.
But you're not amending your...
No, I'm
Okay.
just commenting.
Just conversation. All right. Any more? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Let's have it. Thank you. Department heads. Jennifer? Come on. Ladies first.
A little excited, we got our doors delivered the other day, and we were able to, get 2 of them installed today.
Wow.
So this is what it started out like.
Ooh, wow.
Plexiglass.
Yeah.
We're excited about the difference between chain link to plexiglass.
Wow, that's sweet.
Super excited about that.
Can we get smart screen so y'all can cast?
And additionally, I'd like to thank you all for the, consideration of paving the parking lot. Thank you.
And I still want to get the art department with you to paint some of those.
That's a really good suggestion.
Bert?
Thank y'all for everything today. I know it took up a lot of time, but I'm looking forward to all the things that we're going to do. Also excited about this week, we're breaking ground on the Matty Wells mountain biking project. We're meeting with them, boots on the ground tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So we're excited about that.
With your umbrellas in hand.
And mud boots.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're
We
going
might-
to
We'll
do
be
them.
meeting at the Matty Wells gym.
Brandon? You're being mighty quiet by there.
Just listening. I just want to say thank you to my department.
Amen.
Amen.
Growing up, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, there were 6 of us out there. 6 out of the 8 outside guys stood up and complained, did what they had to, and worked through it all. And we were able, of course, we ran out of work and had nothing we could have done about that. Jones County, if it weren't for all 6 of those guys, we would have certainly ran out.
I saw y'all out there and wow.
There was a lot of running around. I went through about, and I know Sheldon, he went through at least a tank of gas in one day. I went through about a tank and a quarter in one day, Christmas Eve, I think, running.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Sheldon, he was actually the guy on call, so he went through a lot more than that, but that's all I got. Same thing in my department.
Appreciate you guys.
Citizen comment. Anybody tonight want to come forward with
Mr.
citizen comment?
Do you want to ask Jason if you want that?
Oh, Jason.
Oh, Jason.
Oh, Jason, you're hitting on you.
I feel the love.
Y'all gonna straighten me up this year.
One for each.
I'm gonna get all the
If you
mistakes
take
out
one
and
and pass
start
it
with.
around.
The blessing of laughter. You can't laugh about it, you gotta.
That's why she became a bus driver originally.
So
Moved on to transit.
I didn't forget about you, Jason. I was gonna see if he was on your toe.
I've got two things that I wanted to mention to you tonight. The first, there's a handout coming around from MBS, which is Multibank Securities. Levita and I have been looking at different ways to improve how we invest the county's money. And there's a firm called Multibank Securities that's out there. A lot of cities and counties around the state work with them. They are an official partner of ACCG. You have some information there, a list of the different cities and counties in Georgia that they work with. Levita and I sat through a demonstration where they kind of took us through. They have an online platform where basically you see all your investment options out there. Depending on how comfortable you are or how savvy of an investor you are, I guess you can do it yourself, or you also have a dedicated representative that helps you through that whole process. And so my question for you tonight is, would you be, they're willing to come do a presentation here, show you how this works, and talk to you about the different options there. And so I just wanted to ask, is this something that y'all would be interested in learning more about? We'd be happy to set up a presentation either during the regular meeting or during the work session.
I think it's of interest, and I'm going to ask that you open it up to at least 3 vendors that do this, because I've been to a few ACCG events, and there's some other vendors that do some county investing, and then find out for us what are our options. Is it just the state of Georgia? Is it the United States, or can we do offshore investing as well?
Okay.
Anything else?
One other thing, Tim is not still back there, is he? No. So I'm on my own on this. So, we've talked for a long time about sewer at the industrial park, and we've bid it out a couple times. We still have GFA money left. When we did the Sun Valley project, we had a GFA loan. Part of it was the match for Sun Valley. Part of it was sewer to the industrial park. And so the first time we bid it out, we didn't have enough of that GFA loan left, and so we went to the state. One Georgia gave us $500,000. We bid it out again. It came back even more. Excuse me. And so we've got, between the One Georgia money and the GFA money, we've got about $1.4 million. The lowest amount we've got when we bid it out the first time was like $2.5 million. So we're still over $1 million short. Tim and I have had kind of extensive conversation, and we don't have a good solution. We need to figure out what to do with that money. We can do so many extensions with GFA. At some point, we're just going to have to kind of abandon that and give the rest of that money back. We've got the One Georgia money available to us. Tim and I have talked through, is there a way to divide up that project that makes sense, where we could use the 1.4 million? He said there's not a good way to kind of chop it up. And so, nothing I need an answer on tonight, but just kind of want all of you to start thinking about, what exactly we do there.
So I got a quick and simple, I'm not saying this is the best, but obviously there's $1 million and some change shortfall. We have excess funds in the general fund, right, in our reserve, and we're well positioned for our reserve. The fact of the matter is we service, Brandon, how much are we paying Macon Water Authority to service? Pool? How much? Like 300,000 a year? A little bit more? More like $400,000 a year. Ish, close. So in 3 years, that's the payback, right? So literally, we could say, hey, we want to allocate $1.1 million from our general fund or reserves, and the water department is going to pay that back by not having to give it to Macon Water Authority over that 3-year period. That's a simple solution. The other solution is we bid the project out now in today's dollars, right? Because we waited for pipe costs to come down, and we put it on the SPLOST to come. And Sam, you're more creative than I am because you've been doing this longer. Give me one.
You'd be better off putting it on the SPLOST because you're gonna take that long to get out of our agreement with the water authority, right?
5 years.
Jason?
Yep.
Yeah.
But it
by
takes
the-
us,
By the time we get the SPLOST here, get it approved, get some collections, and get it all bid out. The only other thing is to, Chairman better close his ears, borrow the money to do the project now, and then retire the debt through general fund until we get to that point.
because we're already paying for it at the tune of almost $400,000 a year.
How long will it take us to build the sewer plant? 3 years?
Probably, yeah, probably so.
We gotta have sewer though. I mean, it's, you know, that's,
I mean, we gotta look now 5 years down the road any way you look at it, so.
there's good debt and bad debt. This would be one of the good debts.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
This
y'all
is
got
Canada's-
great rates last time we borrowed money for that other project, sewer project.
So you got something, bring us back something next meeting.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
No pressure.
Alhamdulillah. Nothing like Shannon's pressure.
Shannon makes me scared.
Yeah, man.
I'm just glad there's a petition between me and her and Ashley.
Actually,
There's been a lot of kicking going on tonight, Carl.
I'm glad I got this cushion, because if she swings, you can get John first.
Now, citizens' comments, anyone tonight?
I appreciate the invite, this evening, y'all being open here to a regular guy from the community.
We'd like to see you more often too. Thank you. You might consider some of these look at some of these border appointments we got too. We need help.
There used to be a advisory board for rec. Is that still active?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Right.
Might be time to reactivate it.
Well, Commissioner Kishing, you want to start off I've already started talking about my thoughts and overrun my abilities, but
Yeah. Happy
He
New
put us in
Year.
all
Very appreciative of everything that, for our staff and our employees that do go above and beyond every time there's a need, they answer. Every time there's a call, they answer. Chairman, I do want to mention something that is related to that. You know, every county around us had water problems. Haddock had water problems. People were having busted pipes, leaving the waters dripping. It pretty much ran every inch of water line we had out. If that can happen now because of a 10-degree weather problem, I don't know what we're going to do when we're talking about all these additional pipes we're running and all these new customers we're getting, because we ain't getting no more wells right now. I mean, we've got some in the works, but I think we really got to focus on water as much as we do sewer too, because if we don't have capacity, all these new customers are going to be unhappy customers when they go, hey, there's nothing happening here.
Sam, it's interesting you bring that up, and I know you're in comment section. From a sewer perspective, when you treat it, what percentage of that water can you put back in the system?
I don't know that.
Brandon?
Brandon, do you know that?
Like the reclaim,
Right.
and then it goes back into the streams, it's not potable water.
you don't put it back in the well.
Right.
Put it back in.
But you put it back in the aquifer and then draw back out.
Filter through the earth, aquifers, whatnot.
Because we don't do any,
Percentage, I would say, eventually 100%, but you got years of time for that.
gotcha.
They are doing that in California, but that's way above.
The cost to speed it up
Yeah.
outweighs the benefit of the water.
Gotcha.
Because we're already pulling it out of the ground and having to treat it.
Yep.
and fix it. So let it seep back down into the aquifer, pump it back out, it's good. You get involved with that process, you gotta pay money to fix it quicker.
Mr. Wood?
I want to echo some of Sam's comments. Hope everybody has a happy new year. I'm looking for a better 23 than I had a 22. I know the chairman is also, but water is essential for both fire protection and growth in this county, and I've been talking with Tim some, and it's one of the upcoming big proposals or projects we're looking at is water.
Same as all the both of y'all. I know that I got to enjoy my Christmas with my family. And I hate that some of y'all didn't get to enjoy your family for Christmas. And I thank you. Being that person that worked during COVID when everybody else was at home, I know how it feels. I know how everybody else getting a paycheck and they're sitting at home, and I was working every day and I didn't get paid anything extra for it. I understand, and I hope you know that willing heart to be out there in that cold, because I was in my pajamas in front of the heat, wrapped up in a blanket, okay, when I wasn't with my family. So I appreciate y'all very much. I hope that the next meeting, maybe you get to stand up as a citizen and tell us how excited you are to have water. I hope I hear it's close. So, so I can't wait to hear that good news. Even though you're not one of mine, you're one of his. But
That's right, we still want to hear you.
I claim you. And thank you for being here as part of the community. We appreciate that. And it takes that one person in the community to have that concern to light a fire. And that's what we would love for you to help us light that fire, to get that good motivation into that building and change some lives.
I have to just tag in off of that just because I'm just a regular guy who ran for an office, and here I am. So it starts right where you are, attending a meeting and getting informed, and then making a decision to get in the fray and run for office because you want to make a change and do something different for your county. At the end of the day, my fight is for constituents and employees. What can we do to make their lives better on both accounts? And I appreciate our employees. I want to say thank you, especially to the water department and the roads, because Public Works, because when a tree goes down, I make a phone call or an email and it goes up by the time I get back. And without those two groups, we can't get water and we can't get to where we're trying to get to. Of course, I appreciate Parks and Recs and animal services, because without those, the quality of life for our citizens has changed just a little bit differently. While I don't have a pet, I appreciate what you all do to make pets' lives better. And so on to the finance department and everywhere else, because without you guys, we don't operate. Our representative said, he gave us all the kudos, but it's you all that make this work, and we're just here to help. Boots on the ground. 2023, hope it's a more fantastic year than 2022. Not that 2022 was bad. We just have some jump-off points to move forward on. Water and sewer is always critical, and we need to have some creative ideas to get it done. And it comes from everywhere. I value everybody's opinion on that and input on that, because with us working together, we can get it done. I'm going to say to our chairman and to our vice chair, don't be afraid of spending the money that we've saved to save some more money in the future, all right? Because at the end of the day, a penny saved is a penny earned, right? Some grandma said that many years ago. And I don't want to give money back. Like, I can't stand it. Workforce development, one year we gave back $600,000, almost $700,000. I can't stand it. And we definitely don't want to give back $1.4 million of free money, right? So let's figure that out. I'd rather spend $1 million and earn $1 million than give $1.4 million away, if that makes sense, right? So wish you all the best, and thank you, Ashley, for keeping us straight, because without you, we could all end up in handcuffs, and I don't look pretty in orange, even though it's a new
Not your
black.
color.
Not my color. All right, thank y'all.
I need a motion to go,
I make a motion
Executive session
to,
on real estate and personnel.
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Thank you.
And they sounded so happy about
I
it.
know.
What, to get it over?